Okay, we're on Unit 1, Lesson 2. It's just talking about what equivalent fractions actually are. So we're going to generate and explain some simple equivalent fractions, and we'll talk about what a multiplier is. Let's run through the vocabulary. Equivalent fractions, just fractions that are equal to one another. They say the exact same thing. So yesterday I challenged some of you to figure out what 2/8 is simplified. I said simplify it. So simplify and unsimplify. Simplify means to take it to its lowest form, lowest possible form. Unsimplify would be by using a multiplier to make it a equal fraction, but not as small as it could possibly be. And so hopefully you'll understand that a little bit more as we kind of work through this. I wanted to refresh your memory and remind you that in the fraction on the screen, the numerator is 1, the denominator is 2, and that makes for a fraction. So keeping those terms in mind as we go along. Okay, so these are some fraction bars. You can see a half. We're saying here that 2/4 is equal to 1/2. And the reason that that's the case is because if I take 1/2 and I use the multiplier 2, then I get 2/4. Now, here's the trick and the rule with fractions. When you're using a multiplier and you're trying to find equivalent fractions, whatever you do to the numerator, you have to do to the denominator. And whatever you do to the denominator, you have to do to the numerator. So you'll notice that I multiplied them both by 2. I have to do that if I want to keep my fraction equal. If I don't keep both those multiplied by the same exact number, I don't have an equivalent fraction. It does not work. So make sure that that's happening as you're working through on these. Next one, let's go on. So 1/2 to get to 3/6. Well, what's my multiplier? What would I have to multiply 1/2 by to get to 3/6? In order to get to 3/6, I would multiply by 3. And again, whatever I do the denominator, got to do the numerator. Okay, 4/8 from 1/2, right? It is by multiplying by 4. 5/10 is the same as a half. And that's because if I take a half and I multiply it by 5, numerator and denominator, I get 5/10. The other thing is, you'll notice that 2 is half of 4, right? 3 is half of 6, right here. Okay, 2 is half of 4. 3 is half of 6. 4 is half of 8. And 5 is half of 10. So you know that those are the case. Okay, so in order to get those equivalent fractions, what do we have to do? We have to use a multiplier. Okay, and remember, whatever multiplier we use, I think that's supposed to be an I, it has to be the same. Okay, so we have to use the same multiplier for the numerator and the denominator no matter what. Okay, that's shown down here. So this is just showing that exact same thing that I already did up above. So if you want to pause the video, make any notes, take a look at that, go for it. All right, so we're going to practice some of this. And we're going to think about what's shaded, what's not shaded. While half of the circle is shaded in all of these, that's not actually what we're going to say. Here, we're going to say half because there are 2 pieces, right? I don't know if I like how that green's writing, so I'm going to switch that. Here, count the pieces. There's 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4 is my denominator. And how many are shaded? 1, 2. So 2 is my numerator. Okay, again, count the pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is my denominator. How many are shaded? 1, 2, 3. 3 is my numerator. Okay, count the pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is my denominator. How many are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 is my numerator. Tricky. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 is my denominator. And how many are shaded? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 is my numerator. Okay? All those fractions are equal to 1/2 because visually, as you can see, half of each of those circles is shaded in. Okay, so we're just going to use these fraction bars to kind of help us do some reading of fractions and what numbers are represented. So what fraction is marked by the star? The star is right here. Color that in for you. Okay, well, if this is 0/8, what's this next one over? Right here is 1/8, right? So then we go 2/8, that makes the star 3/8, right? What fraction is marked by the heart? Here's my lovely heart. Okay, so we're going to look at this a little differently. If this is 9/12, what's 1 less than 9? Well, 8. So 8/12. That fraction could be simplified. It is not in simplest terms. And when I think about simplifying, I start thinking about what can I do to those numbers? If I can multiply those numbers by something, I can also divide them by something to make them smaller. And that was what I was asking yesterday when I was saying, can anybody simplify 2/8? Okay, well, what you can do is look at it like, well, I can divide both of these by 2. And this is just knowing my basic facts, right? They're both divisible by 2. 8 divided by 2 is 4, right? 12 divided by 2 is 6. Oh my gosh, I didn't pick a very big divisor, so now I can actually divide it again by 2. Remember, the same rule applies. Whatever I do to the denominator, got to do to the numerator. 4 divided by 2 is 2. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So really, that heart, another name for that heart, where that fraction lies, is 2/3. So just some fun you can have with fractions. I love, 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 love fractions. All right, we're almost done for the day. If you have 3/4 of a cup of flour, how many 8ths do you have? Okay, so look at 3/4 here. Here's 3/4. Well, what does it line up to on 8ths? Well, 6/8. So I would have 6/8. I could also prove that the same way I did up here with the 8/12, right? 3/4. What do I multiply u by to get to 8ths? Well, what do I multiply 4 by to get to 8ths? Well, 4 times 2 equals 8. My rule is whatever I do the denominator, got to do the numerator. So 3 times 2, 6. All right? So I can prove those multiple ways. Use the fraction bars. I can work it out. If you have 3/12, so that's right here, put a new dot of an orange, how many 4ths do you have? Well, look straight up, and it's 1/4. Okay? Again, I can prove that 3/4, right? And I want to get it, oops, sorry, my bad, not 3/4, let me erase, 3/12, and I want to get it to 4ths. Well, how do I get 12ths to 4ths, right? To get 12 to 4, divide by 3, divide by 3, 1/4, okay? Which is greater, 3/4 or 10/12? You got to figure that out, right? I can take that 3/4 up to 12ths. That might be the easiest way. That's the way I'm going to do it. 3/4 equals how many 12ths? Well, what do I do to 4 to get to 12? I multiply by 3. Multiply by 3. 3 times 4 is 12. 3 times 3 is 9. 9/12. Well, which one's greater, 9/12 or 10/12? Well, 10/12 is bigger, right? It's like having 10 pieces instead of 9 pieces, okay? You have 2 equivalent fractions for 6/8. Come ready to share your equivalent fractions, okay, with your partner or group. Last little bit, this is our last problem for the day. It's a stretch your thinking. Alyssa said that 6/8 and 9/12 are not equivalent because there's no whole number you can multiply both parts of 6 and 8 by to get 9 and 12. Is she correct? And please explain. So this is your one homework problem. You need to come ready to talk about this with your group tomorrow, okay? We'll see you in class.